Hey everybody, my name's Eric, and in this Dundee Digital Workshop video, I'll be taking you through our Kessler Shuttle Dolly system and our second shooter equipment. This is our Kessler Shuttle Dolly system. The Shuttle Dolly itself is the platform you see right here. On top of it is the second shooter system. I'll get to that in just a bit. But the Shuttle Dolly is this platform, and then the package that comes with when you buy it, it comes with these end clamps here that hold the rails, that holds the entire system up. That doesn't actually come with rails included. You can buy those from Kessler, but they are very expensive. I think if you buy them separate, they're about $350. For whatever reason, if you buy it with the package, because you can get a package deal with the Shuttle Dolly, the end clamps, and rails, but I think that's close to $700 or $800 more than just buying the Shuttle Dolly and the end clamps. So what I did is I just went to the home improvement store and I picked up some Wheatland EMT electrical metallic tubing. That's what you see here. That's the rails that I use. The best thing about that is they are very smooth, they're very strong, and they're very cheap. You can typically get these for between $1 to $2 per foot of pipe that you need. So it's very cheap. And then I just bought long sections of it and cut it with an angle grinder to what I needed it to be linked. So these are 4-foot rails. I've got a section of 8-foot rails and a section of 12-foot rails. We just keep those in our production van and pull out whichever ones we need. The end clamps here, they do come with the Shuttle Dolly as a package. And in addition to holding the rails or pipes, whatever you're using, they also have these clamps on the end that hold the belt for the slider motor. Now I'll get to the second shooter system in just a minute, but before I do, you can use this dolly without the second shooter system on it. Obviously, it's sold separately. That's an entirely different system from the Shuttle Dolly. So if you just have the Shuttle Dolly, and we use it all the time without the second shooter for a lot of B-roll, just for good smooth slides back and forth. This ball head just fits where the pan motor would typically be for the second shooter, just sits on there, and there's 4 screws that hold this in, and it's a ball mount, so then you can put a tripod head right on top of it and just mount the camera directly to the Shuttle Dolly and get manual slides back and forth. It works fantastic for that. Right now though, we have it set up with the second shooter system, and that's this pan motor, which also has a tilt motor on the top of it here, and then over here is the slider motor. That's attached to the belt, and it's all connected to the second shooter Pro controller, which just allows you to control it back and forth and automate the moves. The controller has cat cables that come out of it and go to the slide motor, pan motor, and the tilt motor. The way the whole thing's powered is just with a Dragcast V-mount battery that I just have sitting on the Shuttle Dolly, and that's a P-tap that just comes into the controller. What we end up using the second shooter for a lot is for interviews. We use it as a B cam. So this is our Pocket 6K on top with a 50mm lens. Typically our main interview, our A cam is done with a 35mm lens, and then this will be a close-up off-camera shot. The second shooter just allows us to give that shot a bit of movement. So what I can do into the controller here is I can set a keyframe at the start and a keyframe at the end, and I can keyframe all of the movements in between there, pan, tilt, and slide. And so you just set your starting point, your ending point, and then you can have it just run a loop and go back and forth. So it'll sit there the entire time you're doing the interview, and you can be hands off, and it'll just go back and forth and give you nice movement for that B cam. That's what we use it a lot for. To demonstrate that, I can set my first keyframe, I can do my pan, I can do my tilt, whichever way I want to go, and I can do my slide. So I just get that set to where I want, and I'll set my first keyframe, and then I can come over to the end, and I can set my second keyframe, maybe right there, and then I can make it loop, and I can set the time that I want it to take to do that loop, and I can set ramps at the beginning and end. So if I set this, I want it to take 20 seconds, and I want my starting and ending ramp to be 10%. And then I can just hit run on the controller. It'll automatically go back to the starting keyframe, and then it'll start moving back and forth very slowly. You can make it go faster or slower based on what you want, based on how you set the time in between keyframes. That's it for this Dundee Digital Workshop video. Check out the rest of our YouTube page or head over to our website to see actual footage we've shot with this setup for clients. And if you're looking for documentary cinematic video, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, and see you next time.